Welcome everyone to the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group. It's Wednesday, November 6, 2019. And this is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, part of the public teachings in English. I'm your presenter host, Rick Crammond, as usual in these weekly meetings. And as you can tell by the name, it's the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group. Although we talk about all kinds of topics here besides Keshe Plasma reactors. And in the big sense, you could say that we are all plasma reactors of one kind or another. So tune your plasma reactor in, and we'll see what turns up here. Alrighty, well, let's get started, I guess. And I'd like to ask if anyone has something to present. I think Gianni has something to present. Would you like to go ahead, Gianni?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Rick. John está?
I don't think John is here because I think he's in transit right now. So
yes.
Maybe Dan can help with translating. Dan, do you think you could help with, what would it be, Romanian? Is that, Gianni, you can speak Romanian, Dan could translate, does that work?
Yes, I can try.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
All right, well, we'll just see how it goes, I guess.
Dan, vreau să povestesc că experiența din locul în care sunt, Constanța.
I want to explain the experience I have in the littoral of Romania.
Și totodată să cer ajutor celor prezenți.
And asking the help to the present people.
În experiența pe care o avem aici.
In this experience.
Suntem într-un loc la un prieten care se numește Claudiu.
You are in the place of my friend. His name is called Claudiu.
Și ne-a rugat să venim aici ca să facem un sistem de picurare cu apă plasmatică.
It's asking to making the dropper system plasmatic in this place.
Pentru 21 de hectare de nuci.
For 21 hectare of how to say, no, this tree making the nuts. Yes, nuts. This plant with, yes, this.
No, you mentioned, you said a dropper system. I think you mean a drip system for irrigation, like a drip.
Yes,
it's called.
this system.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead, Johnny.
I-am propus ca să facă un experiment și cu un hectar de grâu.
I propose to making the experiment with 1 hectare of how to say, grain.
Dar acum, chiar în dimineață, înainte de a intra în Plasma Reactor Group,
But first, to enter in Plasma Reactor Group,
a venit și a zis că vrea să riște și să pună 70 de hectare.
it's saying I want to risk, pay to making for 7, câte hectare? 7?
70.
17. No, 7, 80, 70 hectares.
Și întreb
70.
colegi,
Yep.
17, yes.
70, not 17, I think. Is that what you mean? 770, not 17, right?
Yes.
70.
7-0.
Yeah, there's similar sounds, so similar sounding numbers. Okay, carry on.
Și întreb colegii din grup dacă are cineva experiența la acest nivel.
And I asking the colleagues, as somebody else have the experience in this level.
He's asking whether someone here has experience with a large plot of land like that, you mean?
Jenny, ai înțeles? A întrebat dacă legătură cu plantele, dacă are experiență în legătură cu plantele sau cu picătura, cu sistemul de picătură.
În legătură cu cultivarea unei suprafețe așa de mari, de grâu.
For knowing for a big surface in big scale.
Right.
Pentru sistemul de picurare este pregătit tot.
For the system, it's making already. It's everything is making.
Claudiu are un tank de 3000 de litri de apă.
Have a tank of 300 liters.
Și aici în tank introducem o spirală cu plasmă de CO2 și ZNO.
In this tank, putting the spiral with CO2 and zinc oxide.
Sistemul de picurare este făcut prin cădere.
This system is making in the gravitational way in dropping with the difference of level.
Yes. Pentru grâu ne-am gândit să folosim pulverizarea semințelor cu plasmă de CO2.
For the grain, I thinking to spray it with the plasma.
Și asta înseamnă, sunt 300 de kilograme la hectar.
Which means 300 in the hectare, seeds in the hectare.
Asta înseamnă, cred că, 21 de tone de grâu.
21 tons of grain.
Gansul e în pregătire și merge bine, adică producția de gans aici.
The guns it's in state of production. It's doing well. And go ahead.
Și la ce m-am gândit, deci acum în prima fază vine pulverizat, în loc să fie pulverizat cu chimicale, este pulverizat cu plasmă.
And I thinking for spraying first in this moment. It's not for repet un pic, nu este pentru cu picurare, este cu sprayere.
Mă refer că la grâu îl pulverizăm cu plasmă, până acum îl pulveriza cu insecticide și pesticide.
Still now I spray it, I pulverize with insecticide and other thing. Now I want to try with plasma.
Aici este întrebarea dacă colegii au experiență cu cultivarea grâului cu plasma.
This is intervened with the question if somebody has the experience with plasma culture of grain in the field of plasma.
Yeah, the best way to connect would be through the maybe through Gatua and through the agricultural side of things. We don't have that many people here. Maybe Ursula has some experience, but probably because of Gianni making the garden there. So no.
Hi,
Is
it's
there,
Ursula. How are you?
hi, Ursula.
Yes, indeed, Gianni has been started here initiating the oasis in Provence, and many experiments has been done, but the simple one, not as complicated, not a complicated, but perfectionist as he did, because I'm learning from him. And okay, I can add nothing else to this what has been said.
Rick, perhaps it's better Johnny speaking in Spanish. In this manner, the other knowledge seekers have the possibility to understand it better and in right way. And it's quickly because I'm in the work and I have a lot of noise here.
Yes, right.
And
Okay.
it's not appropriate.
Okay, Dan,
But I
thank you.
listen.
Okay, sounds good. We'll switch to
First
Spanish.
asking the Ursula.
Yes, I can translate, and Spanish will be interesting for all our community, Spanish who listen often to all of Gianni's presentations.
Thank you, Ursula.
Thank you.
I take your.
I'm here
Gracias,
to
Ursula.
Gracias, Gianni. Estoy aquí para servir a Gianni.
Thank you, Dan.
Tengo experiencia con, bueno, pequeño tierra, trabajando con trigo, con maíz, con otras plantas, pero eso sí que es grande.
Je lo traduzco.
Sí, por favor.
I have experience with agriculture, with wheat, with ¿qué otro vegetal?
¿Cómo?
¿Qué otro vegetal? Trigo y qué más?
Trigo, maíz, patatas y legumbres de
Maíz,
todo tipo.
maíz, potatoes and all kind of vegetables.
Pero lo que he hecho hasta ahora, he puesto las semillas en aquaplasma.
But the most important he did, and what I did also now, is to put the seeds in plasma water.
Y ahora como para sembrar el trigo es mucha cantidad y no se puede meter en agua y he pensado solo pulverizarlo con plasma de CO2.
And to plant the wheat you ¿cómo se dice trigo? How you call this to wheat, I think, yes?
Wheat, yes, wheat.
To plant the wheat, there's a very big quantity, and I make a spray on it with plasma water on the seeds.
Intento contactar a Dr. Gatua para ver qué dice. Úrsula.
¿Has
Hello,
contactado,
Ursula?
Dr. Gatua? ¿Has logrado?
No, quiero hablar con él.
I want to speak to Dr. Gatua.
¿Por qué dentro de como máximo una semana tiene que sembrar todo?
Because in 1 week he need to plant it all.
Normalmente aquí en Rumanía el trigo se ha sembrado hace 2 meses.
Normally here in Romania the wheat on planted 2 months ago.
Y a Claudio le ha quedado estos 70 hectáreas.
Claudio, he has these 70 hectares.
Y quiere hacer ese experimento.
He want to do this experiment.
Y gracias a todos. Y si hay alguien que tiene experiencia, por favor.
Thank you to all. And if somebody has experience, please come up. And I will add that is Maria Cristina Diori in Argentina, who is agricultural engineer and treating very big piece of lands, as you know, in Argentina they are. And she is doing much experience with this, and it's the second year, I think. He is dealing with the owner because they don't know plasma, but she do it the same. She has a big tank where she has a big reserve of water, and okay, she has excellent results, and the owners start to see that it works, that it can never damage anything. And the contrary, the harvests are much more important and without problems, insects and all this. I will translate to Gianni. Decía que, como sabes, María Diori ha
He
hecho
comprendido, ¿verdad?
¿Cómo?
He comprendido, pero puedes traducirlo para los españoles.
Claro. Decía, estaba explicando la experiencia de María Diori, que es agricultora agrónoma en Argentina y que hace 2 años o más está haciendo experimentos. Claro que tuvo mucha necesidad al principio de tratar de explicar las cosas que no fueron entendidas para el propietario, y ahora el segundo año ella pudo demostrar que muchos cambios han sido posibles con menos enfermedades y con mucha mejor recolta. Adelante.
Sí, conozco eso, pero ella también utiliza el hormuz y otras cosas. Aquí ya no hay tiempo para preparar y Claudio quiere hacer el experimento solo con plasma.
He said that Maria Diori used also hormuz, but she started very, very much time ago, so at this time it was very frequently. And Claudio in Romania want to do only this experience with plasma water, nothing else.
¿Ha visto el video donde el señor Keshe explica de agricultura plasmática?
He saw the video where Mr. Keshe explains the agriculture with plasma water.
Y se ha decidido hacer ese experimento.
And they took the decision to make this experience.
Bueno, eso es con lo del trigo, con los de los nueces.
This is in concerning the wheat, and now the nuts.
Aquí lo que quería comentar ayer por la tarde.
Gianni, ¿tienes
Sí.
unas fotos, tal vez, que puedas pasar al mismo tiempo?
Tengo fotos solo con los reactores, porque
Ah.
ahora me voy en el campo otra vez. La primera vez no he hecho fotos.
I was asking him if he has some pictures, but Gianni said that he has only from the reactors.
Y lo que quería comentar con lo de los nueces, he visto que han perdido muchos de ellos.
What I saw with the nuts, I saw that they lost many of them.
Porque lo ponen cerca uno del otro.
Because they install them one too close to the other.
Y que he sentido en el campo
I feel in the field
es que algunos de ellos se sacrifican para dejar espacio a los otros.
that some of them sacrifice themselves to let place to others.
Y eso es lo que tengo que explicarlo.
And this is what I need to explain.
Y creo que voy a lograrlo para que comprendamos que tiene que no sembrar otra vez otros para completar.
And I think that I need to explain that they don't need to plant others to complete.
Eso pasa aquí de como 4 años.
This have here since 4 years.
Y en 4 años ha replantado unos 5,000 árboles de nueces.
And in 5 years he plant. ¿En cuánto tiempo? 5 años.
Sí.
He plant 5,000 trees more of nuts tree.
Y el problema es que los que lo venden dicen que es normal.
The problem is that who sold this tree said that this is normal.
Pero creo que al final va a comprender eso.
But finally, I think he will understand this.
Así que vamos a seguir con el experimento.
So we follow with this experience.
Gracias al señor Keshe y a vosotros a todos. Gracias.
Thank you to Mr. Keshe and to you all. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, Gianni. I'm not sure if we can help you very much.
I wish to add something that Joël Ricard in France, Bordeaux, is making the same experience also with plasma agriculture with grapes to make wine, because many want here to go to biological, I mean without pesticides and all these things, and they have many difficulties to keep it clean, to don't be attacked by parasites. And Joel is finishing now the first year and the first harvest, and so we are expecting the results for the first year in grapes in Bordeaux, and then we will make it larger also in other regions like here, Côte d'Or, to make this experience with some persons who are informed, and one has been interested to have more information. So it's growing also in this kind of topic and harvest. Thank you.
Okay, good. I posted the link for people that want to apply for the KFSSI private agriculture classes, and people that are doing commercial, commercial agriculture, and farmers can apply at that email. And Gianni, perhaps you might want to apply for that so that you can get the information you need for your planting and so on there.
Yes, we asked Dr. Gatwa so many times to come into our agriculture session Monday, but he is very busy, I can understand, and because much of these people, agricultors in Argentina, don't speak English, so they need to be with somebody. I know that John Wells is inside the agriculture but we cannot have any information, and it's a little bit disappointed sometimes. So okay, we let it be and do it as we can, as we know, without really information. The the professional like Maria Diori, it's a very beautiful woman really, and she was asking to have some information and didn't get anything. So because I don't know why, many things, many person want to be inside, and I don't know why it don't happen. The only one Spanish is inside is John, but he said he cannot give the information because it's private. So I'm a little bit desperate about this agriculture, also for me, because I never did agriculture. I have been initiated by Gianni, so I follow all his his teaching, and also, of course, 6 months later, I understand what he told me before, because uh, after a year experience, also we got very much canicule here, very hot time, and without water. It was a little bit difficult for me for this first time with such a big land, but okay, it's all going forward. And I heard also that the first year we can make mistakes because we don't know how much water, what we do, how we do. And okay, this all is over now, this first experience, and I'm happy to imagine the next year mm, with most the more advanced techniques what we are learning today. And it's not so difficult. Finally, it's work, it's much work. The problem here is not the difficulty of the results only, is also in the big land comes like this, we need to be four to living in this house. I have four bedroom at the moment. We are three. It's one left, it's one free. So if somebody want to have an experience, of course in winter it's not the best time uh, to work on this, even if, because they are not need of water, but because it's very humid here also. But okay, we can prepare other things. The 16th we have the workshop with eco construction with Graciela Grosovic from Argentina. She comes here with his husband. So, and some French coming also. So if you want to come, we have the 16th an explanation about Graciela Kosovic and his 40 years work she's giving away to others. She's consultant also for Earthship, maybe you know. And Gianni proposed also the week after to build a geoda all together, in geoda in dome, for many kind of uses. For us here in the Provence, what it needs is to protect the early plants uh, in spring for the very stark wind called Mistral here. It's devastating. So, okay, all those who want to participate, it's free. Only to participate with the material and maybe what it needs, what it can cost, or bring it with you. So you can contact me, and I will be translator for Gianni, who is the expert on this. He did it all right in his oasis in Petrila. So That's a good information I want to repeat. Thank you. It's coming soon next week, so it's there. Thank you.
Quería completar otra cosa. Y si puedes traducir, Úrsula.
He wanted to complete another thing, so I will translate.
Claudio tiene 200 hectáreas de tierra.
Claudio has 200 hectares of earth, of land.
Y tiene pensar salir de monocultivos.
He wished to come out of monoculture.
Y intenta poner muchos árboles.
And he tried to plant many trees.
Manzanas, aceitunas, también lavanda, girasol y
olive, ¿cómo se dice? Aceitunas. Oui, olive. Maybe I confused.
Olive, yeah.
Olive, yes. Okay.
¿Y por qué ayer por la noche me ha contado que él cree que es mucho mejor cultivar más especies de plantas en vez de solo uno o dos o tres tipos?
And he told me that it's better to plant different kind of plants, of trees, rather than monoculture or very much of the same.
Y es joven.
He is young.
Y los otros que tienen tierra en la zona se están riendo de él, que hace varios experimentos.
And the other around him are laughing about what he's doing with all this experience.
Pero me ha contado que no pasa nada, él va a seguir.
But he told me that it's okay, he will follow on this way.
Y la intención es de hacer comida sana para los que quieren.
And the intention is to do health food for those who want it.
Y él ha tenido problemas con el peso.
And he had problems with weight.
Y ha cambiado de alimentación de comer carne a comer solo vegetales.
And he changed all right the alimentation from meat to only vegetables.
Y creo que de aquí él siente algo, tiene la conexión con las almas verticales.
And I think that he has really a connection with the vertical souls.
Y creo que es maravilloso eso.
And this is beautiful.
Gracias.
Yes, thank you. And I want to add also to this, for me it's the same case. We plant many seeds and we have many seeds for the next year. Decía que hay varias semillas de lo que han traído para el año que viene, así que vamos a poder repartir. But I wanted to say also that my intention is also to plant more trees, fruit trees. It's good for resistance for the wind, and also it's easier to harvest also. I mean, for all kind of vegetable, there are not very much here harvest of this kind of I mean big quantity, so I will adapt also to the climate here and have more trees, because it's protecting from the wind also for the whole garden. So I will see with Gianni when he comes that how we can do it, and also to be more adapted maybe for the choose of these trees for the plants who are growing here, because here there are grapes, figs, how you use higos.
Figs.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Figs and other, but they are not a very big quantity because most of the culture here is wine. So I, I found many trees also done by natural growers and with exchanges, and the same thing that Gianni found in Romania with las semillas del alma, seeds of the soul, because it's very important to have the seeds of these good plants, to give it away so that other can plant it and have it and enjoy it, because I thought it was not more work now in the garden, but of course it is, but not as much as in summer. But the seeds, to have the seeds is a good work to do in front of the chimney. And in plus larger interaction also with others who can take the seeds and plant them at their home. So we can imagine so many solutions for all to harvest. It's easy. It's really easy. It was my first year. It was not the easiest because I got also with my eyes some promises. Now all is okay. All is in order, and okay, it's very joyful to learn how to grow plants and see them growing. And okay, we are not doing this to eat. Yes, I sell nothing. I was I had the intention first, because I have an association that people can pay 30 euros for the for a year, and then come and have some vegetables and learn together how is the garden and what is plasma, and they will see themselves the results. So this is has been my intention. This year has been very difficult to have people in, because what is plasma? They look at me as I am crazy sometimes, but it's okay. We accept. We know that we need to feel as they are children of knowledge and children of consciousness. So okay, now it's done. The first 6 months are past. We can take now all our experiences and grow much more, and with much more knowledge and happiness next year. Thank you. ¿Has entendido, Gianni, lo que he dicho?
Thank you, Ursula. If you have a link to some site or something you want to show, that might be good. I have a link that I put up from, this is Jim and Lisa in Australia, and they have a website, plasmainnature.com. And this is part of their blog. I'll just show where this image comes from. Plasma in nature, practical plasma, some nice images. And it goes on to have different topics in this blog. And I was just skimming through, and I see that we have plasmatic field interactions in plant tissue shown visually. And they talk about this describes it and mentions the paper has been submitted and published in the KF Plasma Times. I'm not sure which. Says the full article can be downloaded from the Keshe Foundation website. Just click on the image. Excuse me. So I'm just looking at ways we can help Gianni get some information on how he can interact with this new crop. And so Jim and Lisa, that's what they do for a living, is grow lettuce and other crops for consumption. And they use the plasma methods in what they do. So it's interesting here. So he could go to this site and click on this picture, and that will give the paper and other scientific results on how to the difference between growing with and without the plasma. So and there's the it says you can also watch the 280th Knowledge Seekers Workshop from 2 hours and 16 minutes. And also there's the Plasma Times where the article was in. And then underneath that, I think there's, oh, I know, I have to go back, I guess. There we go. And that was just that one blog. That was just from June 14th. That's how you can find it, June 14th, 2019 in the blog. Underneath that, adding nutrition to food using GANs. Says Jim has put out 2 papers based on field trials using GANs to grow our produce. The first paper can be found here. Jim gave his findings in the 279th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here. The second paper will be shown in the next Knowledge Seekers Workshop, and both can be found in the June edition of the KF Plasma Times. So there's 2 papers that have been 2 papers in the June edition, June 2019 of the KF Plasma Times. So that would be useful for Gianni to have a look at that. Can you check and make sure he understands that?
¿Gianni has entendido? Hay que mirar el 279 y está también el Plasma Times de junio.
Sí, Úrsula, he visto. Y gracias, Rick. Bueno, aquí también he visto lo que han hecho los de Australia. Y he hecho los nanos materiales con agua del mar. Y también...
He saw what the Australians have done, and he did also the plasma with seawater.
Y yo que hemos propuesto a Claudio hacer en esa tierra varios experimentos.
And what we proposed to Claudio is to do many experiences on his land.
Es con lo que comprendo hoy.
So, this is with what I understand today.
Y es maravilloso que podemos compartir entre nosotros y así tengo más ideas para hacer lo que tenemos que hacer.
And it's beautiful to have these experiences to know better what we need to do.
Lo que me parece una cosa importante es que el trigo que va a sembrar está de la misma tierra.
What I found interesting is that the wheat that we want to plant is all right on the land.
Y claro que no está tratado como se hace donde se compran las semillas.
And of course, it's not treated as they do usually, where they buy the seeds.
y he sentido una vibración alta al trigo que tiene para sembrar.
I felt a high vibration with the seeds that they are expected to plant. Very high vibration.
Y Claudio comprende que estamos al principio de comprender la tecnología del plasma.
And Claudio, he understood that we are on the starting of understanding plasma agriculture.
Y es maravilloso que puede comprender eso.
And this is beautiful that he can understand this.
También donde estuvimos hace 2 semanas en otra ciudad.
Also where we have been 2 weeks ago in another city.
Con lo de los domos.
With the domes.
Y Horacio se llama el alma maravillosa.
He calls Horacio this beautiful soul.
Quiere aplicar en la agricultura de la fundación.
He won't apply on agriculture culture.
He dicho que es lo mejor para aprender porque también tiene bastante tierra.
It's the best to learn because he has also much land.
Y la fundación puede compartir la información real. Y me alegro mucho por eso.
Oh, sorry, the mic was closed. He said that he is very happy that Horacio also is open to this new agriculture to learn and apply on agriculture.
Gracias.
Thank you. Can I ask something? Have you echo when I'm talking? Because there was many time a problem with my mic who makes echo. I don't know.
No, it's really good right now, I'd say.
Okay, thank you.
You're coming through loud and clear, very nice.
Ah, this plasma, maybe.
Takes a while, but it works.
And I will tell you also because I'm following the reactors groups for very far ago. I never understood nothing at the beginning, and now that I'm applying, okay, I'm applying on agriculture because I wish to make an oasis, and okay, it's there, and I'm learning. It's an experience I can wish to everybody to do because it's learning that you understand what the plasma is. You can have all the theories and all the learnings how to do it, but if you don't do it, you will never integrate it really. So I know that here in this group everybody has done experience, but what I observe is that all the new one who want to do it, sometimes they know how to do it, but they don't do it, or don't speak, or don't manifest, or don't ask, or don't participate, and they are full of knowledge. So it's how to do this now as plants to grow. Thank you. And in plants, everybody can plant a plant and make this experience and see what happens. It's really, really amazing, beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ursula. Okay, that was very nice. So if there's nothing further to add there, perhaps we'll switch over to Kenneth here, who's got something he'd like to.
Yes, I will add, please, if it's possible to have this this link of Lisa's and Jim, this one, because I know they had 2 or 3, I don't know what is now active, and there was one with the spiral who has many information also. I don't know. I think it's not there now. It's one the official one. But can we have this information on this website also?
Yeah, it's I posted it in the chat there. It's called Plasma in Nature,
Ah, okay.
and it's practical plasma. That's just one of their pages, but that's the one with the blog on it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Plasma Culture, which is a lovely name, I think. Plasma Culture. I mean, we have
Yes.
permaculture and other kinds of culture for plants, but plasma culture, that's beautiful.
Yes. Like
So
that.
if you
We
look
call
up
it also.
plasma culture, then there's the Facebook for that, and so on.
And we can combine the two, plasma and perma. Perma is permanent culture. Only this, done with ecology, with respecting the earth and the insects and all. But we can mix the two. I did it a little bit. So I was learning very much permaculture, because I cannot go to agriculture or plasma culture. But okay, I'm learning because I'm observing and talking with others, and so we can show the experiences. Gianni do it very well for Spanish community. I'm very grateful that he apply like this, and all what he has done in the oasis. I understand now better, because when it's only earth coming there and you don't know how to do it, and a little bit lost. Okay, and now it's done, it's integrated, and thank you, Gianni. Gracias, Gianni, por toda tu implicación. He's a great instructor. Thank you.
Gracias a nosotros, como dice Jalal.
Así es.
Yeah, and you brought up a really important idea as well, this idea that we need the practical experience, personally experienced, you could say. And otherwise, if we only have the book knowledge or the way it's supposed to be, according to the theories and all of the calculations and all of the carefully crafted thoughts and intricate structure and so on, and then you go about and actually engage in life and actually practically do something, take an action from that knowledge, and you discover that there's all kinds of complications that you hadn't even thought of, and other things enter into the whole scenario. I remember when I was young, I was really into like racing cars and hot rods and things. As far as books go, I didn't know anybody that actually had a hot rod or race car, but I read all about it, all the books in the library and all of the magazines I could find, and I knew everything about cars and how to, all the different parts and everything, what were the best combinations and all this theory about it and everything else. And then I actually started doing things with my hands, like taking apart a lawnmower, for example, and discovering that things didn't go so smoothly as I had planned, and that it's a whole entire different world when you start interacting with your hands, your head and your hands, rather than just your head, just your visualization and your what you think is the way it's supposed to be. Because when you actually engage with your hands-on, they call it, doing hands-on work with ganses or nanomaterials or reactors or any of the things that that we do in the plasma realm, then it becomes a whole different ball game. It's as I learned when I was young with this, I ended up doing auto mechanics after that because I developed an aptitude for it and I became pretty good at it. But it took a long time to make that transition from what I thought I could do and in my head and the way things were supposed to work out. When I got hired by a local motorcycle shop, and the first thing I did on the first bolt, I broke the bolt. I just sheared it right off because I torqued it too much and it broke the bolt. I had to learn how to remove a broken bolt and all that kind of thing. And the owner wasn't too impressed, but I managed to get through that and through a bunch of other stuff and became, good at it eventually. But again, you think, oh, I can do this, and then poof, your limitations come up very, very quickly when we participate in the interaction in real life. So again, in the garden situation or in agriculture, you'll definitely see the results of your interactions and fairly quickly too with the plasma technology. And it's important to actually try things and practically. I'm impressed with Gianni. He's doing a great job with just going out there and with intention and with knowledge and with a little bit of experimentation. He's going for it, and that's great to see. So we have some comments in the chat here from Kenneth, and he put his comments in the live stream as well and then came into the chat here. Perhaps I can read the comments and then maybe Kenneth can comment on what he's mentioning here. So he says he wants to share his experience of testing. In the last 3 years, I built many GANs, reactors, and health pens all around my old house, and I tested to freeze the water with the health pen nearby, and there was many energy lines inside the frozen water. Before that, I thought those energy lines were created by my health pen. Recently, I moved my house to another location. There's no GANs and reactors inside my house now. Just have the health pen at this moment, as I'm so busy after the moving. Recently, I tried to put one health pen nearby my water and then put together into the refrigerator for freezing. I found out there was no energy lines in the ice. After that, I put two health pens nearby the water, one on the left and one on the right, and then froze the water. I found out there's much energy line display in my ice this time. So I think that two or more interactions of the nano-coated object is necessary for plasma interaction. In my old house, because there were so many GANs and reactors inside my house, so even one health pen put into the water in the freezing test, there was many energy lines in it. So he says, in summary, my finding is that one health pen is running freeze plasma only. The energy line is floating randomly, so the ice cannot show the energy link. And two or more health pens the energy is locked together between the health pins so that the ice, when it freezes, it freezes the energy line. Okay. Thank you for that observation and comments, Kenneth. Is there anything you would like to say about that? You can open your microphone if you wish. Or not. Anybody have any comments about that? We've seen some similar things that people have shown in the past. The freezing of what appears to be energy lines from various combinations of nano-coated coils and ganses and other such things. Okay, Kenneth says he has a microphone issues, so he's going to try to send a picture, I believe, so you see more clearly what he's talking about. Picture's worth 1,000 words, as they say. The video is worth 100,000 words, perhaps. Okay, I think it's Tom Salas has a number of these freezing pictures and videos that he's shown in his Facebook site recently. Alrighty, anybody else have something they'd like to go ahead with here? Another topic, something they'd like to show, perhaps. Any interesting experiences in the last while? Okay. Pretty quiet crowd here. I'll have to stimulate you somehow. How about some loud rock music? What will it take? Quiet classical? How about something from Jedi? Do you have any new tunes, Jedi, you'd like to present to the world? He might just actually have something. Anybody have any projects they're working on they'd like to work out with us here and do some brainstorming or any other tossing around ideas? Nikolai, you got anything fun happening? Well, I know someone's got a flying saucer they're working on in their workshop.
Rick, it's Nikolai.
Ah, you're the one with the flying saucer in the workshop. Great.
Probably. No flying saucers over here. I am doing some ice experimentation right now, actually, with some little resin pyramids, actually. But let me see if I can find a couple pictures of something in my phone here, and if I can share that, I will. And if not, I might just call it a night. I've got an early morning as well, so I'll see what I can find.
I think I remember seeing some resin experiments by you there for little pyramids or something. I didn't quite understand. There's something about putting them in the freezer. I wasn't quite sure what that meant.
That was just an attempt to see what would show up in the ice, and so I'll see if I can find a picture here, and I'll send it in.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out whether it was resin or whether it was ice that you were putting. Like I thought maybe you're letting the resin set in the freezer or something.
No, the pyramids were resin with some nano-coated copper bits in the tip, and then a few drops of the different ganses sandwiched in between the layers of the resin, and then that was then cured normally, and then put into a gallon of water, and I can find that.
Okay. When you get your photo, Kenneth, then you can let me know as well. Okay, we can meditate on Jupiter for a couple of minutes here while we sort out people, pictures, plasma, and sound somehow all together in one place. Anybody else like to tell a story while we're waiting? No storytellers today.
Rick, you said you knew a lot about Tesla. You studied a lot about Tesla. You actually promoted their name prior to the car company. I think they owe you a few dollars there for pre-promotional, making the word Tesla in every household. But I was always impressed with that device you'd see in movies, and you see where the electricity was going up a column, sort of, they called it Jacob's ladder. Does that have anything to do with our technology, or is that just something they showed where it's, do you know what I'm talking about? Where the electric?
Oh yes, I know exactly. I built one about 10 or 12 years ago with a student I had, and we took a high voltage coil and rigged it up so you would plug it into a outlet, and there's two rods that went up about a meter high, and what happens is you create a high voltage spark at the bottom of this kind of V-shaped rods. The two rods are close together at the bottom, a little further apart at the top. And the idea is where it's close together at the bottom, you create a high voltage arc. The arc jumps across each from the two rods, and then it makes its way up these rods in an arc that looks sort of like a ladder in the way it interacts. And it's real impressive and fiery and actually quite dangerous as well. And I try to make it less dangerous for my student by putting a polycarbonate tube around the whole assembly so you couldn't get close and get actually electrocuted by it. But it's not really a kid's experiment in a way. It's more for be careful what you're doing, and it can be a lot of fun. So yeah, it's called Jacob's Ladder. Now it's not directly related to what we're doing, but in another way it is directly related. It all depends on how direct you want to go. Because if you look at the idea of an electrical arc, then basically what you have is a plasma. It's a plasma, what scientists would call a plasma, is basically an ionized gas. The air gets ionized by this spark, and it creates charged particles and electron flow and actually all kinds of interesting things, like it's related to lightning and the effects of lightning, which they now know lightning can actually create antimatter when lightning strikes occur. So depending on how deep you get into it, it could be considered related, but it's basically just an electrical phenomenon that's 100 years old or more, and it's I don't know, it's not directly related to the plasma teachings that we've been exposed to, but on the other hand, it's a different state of matter than what we normally see, this ionization of the air, similar to lightning. When lightning strikes, it ionizes the air as well, and it's one of those very shocking phenomenons, you might say, that can really influence you when you see it. If you see lightning close by, like within 100 meters or so, and it actually hits a tree or something that you're close to, you will always remember that as a very descriptive, way of experiencing that kind of plasma. So this little Jacob's Ladder is kind of like a mini lightning, and maybe it reminds us of the power of what a charge can do, a difference in potential.
And it has a gritty sound when it's operating, like that.
Yeah, it goes as the spark goes up the rods, and then it starts at the bottom again. It goes up. You'll see it in some of the old science fiction movies with Frankenstein and so on. They always have a Jacob's Ladder in the background, and so on. one of those kind of impressive things to get into.
Right.
So, you know, there's other things you can do. There's, of course, with Tesla, there's a Tesla coil that he's famous for, and people have really taken that to extremes in recent years. You can now play music. You can buy a little Tesla coil for less than $50 and on eBay, and it'll play music. It'll actually, there's no speaker. It actually, the spark from the coil actually generates the sound. I had one of these, and in fact, Guy has one that I gave him. So it's you can get them actually cheap, like less than $20. I think it was about $10 or $15 for this little tiny Tesla coil, and you hook it up to your audio, and you can actually hear a sound out of it. A big one, you can hear a big sound out of it, and it can be fairly clear as well. It's a whole different way of creating sound. Instead of a vibrating plate like a speaker that we've had for 150 years or whatever. It's an actual plasmatic spark that initiates the sound. So that's kind of a big change for humans in a way. Anything else about that, Mark, that you'd like to know once we have that pie opened up?
No, it's like you said, a lot of optics there in the movies and things. It's and that is an actual, like a lightning bolt, you're saying?
Well, more or less, it's a high potential ends up with sparks, basically. So Tesla was famous for generating up to, I think it was 20 foot or longer sparks with his coil setups. They had huge potential, up over 1 million volts, and he knew how to work with all that. But a spark has a lot of power in it. The simple spark gap or simple spark, for example, even the spark that occurs when you turn a light switch on, you don't see it normally unless you're inside the switch looking at it. But when the contacts of a light switch are connected, there's a spark that occurs. And normally you'd never notice that. But if you have the little crystal radio that I talked about so much, and you can actually increase the sensitivity of that radio so much that it would hear the spark generated at the other side of your house from turning a light on and off. The little spark in that switch, it has so much energy, and it's so broad bandwidth, they call it. It'll show up on all the frequencies basically, and all of the radio bands. It'll show up as static in the that's what lightning does. Lightning also sounds like static in a normal AM band. Most of the static you hear in AM is due to all the lightning and interactions in the atmosphere. There's over 1,000 lightning strikes per second, I think it is. And if you look at the Earth overall, and that also generates the Schumann resonance. It's associated with that.
I saw your little video you put up on the spooky sounds that you did years ago, I guess, where you had that something. It must have been that Tesla did with the copper coil. You had it wrapped up, or two of them, and you put it near a screen and a computer. You did a bunch of little things.
Actually, it's called the Spooky Tesla Spirit Radio. Was the original device. That's what I call the original device. I mean, it's basically just a simple crystal radio circuit, and the only difference is that I hook it up to the computer through sound software and alter the sound in real time. So you, instead of hearing static when lightning strikes, you hear the full crescendo of thunder, as if it was thunder coming through the speakers rather than the lightning. It converts the signal that it hears from that lightning into an audio signal, from light into audio, or from radio frequency into audio. So it can also convert all kinds of signals into audio signals. So it can be a lot of fun. I've used it as a detector for different experiments and so on. And it's actually the 10-year anniversary of this Spooky Tesla Spirit Radio. I think I showed it in the last plasma group here, and people can check it out. I put a post somewhere on the Facebook regarding the Instructable that came from. And the idea is that, you know, Tesla also listened to lightning. I mentioned that before in this group. That was one of his favorite things to do. He could hear a storm coming up to 1,000 miles away, and he would tune into it and hear the different strikes of lightning. And he actually named the strikes of lightning he was hearing because it reminded him somehow of, or he attributed these Greek and Roman gods and goddesses he would give them names of these different gods and goddesses to the lightning strikes, to his favorite ones, you could say. So it was really big for him. He realized the power in that lightning, and I think that intrigued him, and he wanted to pursue how he could create that and actually make it work to communicate and broadcast energy.
I was impressed that you were picking up strikes, I think, if I understood the video right. Some of them were bigger or some of them were smaller, but you could hear them going through your audio, picked up on that coil you were holding.
Yeah, just a simple crystal radio with the right setup and the right tuning, and especially with the audio software to help amplify and modify the sound. It's incredible what you can pick up on with that kind of system. And you can get some very interesting effects if you just add a few modifiers to the sound as it comes in, and it's still in real time. It's still the original sound is what's creating, or the original impulse from the radio signals or light or sound or magnetic fields, or the radio can pick up on all those things and more. And you can transmute that impulse into an audio signal. That's the great thing about it, so that it makes sense to you. It has a certain substance to it. It's got a body to the sound. So it's, like I said, instead of just hearing static, then you hear an actual sound that's more or less pleasurable, or sometimes not so pleasurable. It can be, off key or something, but still it gives you a feedback, an audio feedback. So you can hear a magnetic field of a motor, for example. And when the motor revs up, you hear it revving up in the audio. And so you don't have to just look at a fan to see it's going faster or slower. You can actually hear it. And same with the reactors. You can set up this device to hear your reactors rotating. And that can be quite interesting.
Jedi has put in the chat that there's some flute music that he played, and on a flute that he hand constructed himself.
Yeah, I'm just checking out the so there's 3 tracks I guess you got here, right? So we got the first one.
Yes, he's saying 3 tracks.
Astral. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, I think.
Yeah, the first one he said is the singing bowls.
Singing bells. Yeah.
I thought he said bowls.
I sent you a couple of videos and pictures, Rick, in your Telegram chat.
Oh, okay.
Of ice pictures.
Okay, we should go to Nikolai here first, and then we'll go to Jedi. So let me just get these downloaded. Just be a minute here.
Should be 3 pictures and a video.
And a video. That's what's taking so long to download here. Yes, I see. And
Yes, I think Jedi had bowls and bells.
yes. Oh, oops. Oops. Almost there. Just hang on here. Oops. Oh. Okay, just be a minute here. It's getting hard to save these properly, so just be a minute.
Maybe Jedi could open his microphone and explain what or is this Nikolai's?
This will be Nikolai's. I just have to get it lined up here.
Would you like to introduce it, Nikolai, or give a little background?
Sure. It's really nothing that we haven't seen before, but we were talking earlier about, I don't remember who it was, who Rick was mentioning that had posted in the chat, but about showing the field lines from the health pen. And so this is one CH3 resin pyramid. So it's a small little resin pyramid with some nano-coated bits of copper in the cap and a little couple drops of CH3 in between the layers of the resin. And I've pulled it out of the ice to show you that it can be, to see it there. It's actually created a little bubble in the ice itself, a little hole. And when you play the video, you'll see that. But that's tap water. So pretty clear, pretty energized tap water. I've frozen tap water before without anything in it, and it doesn't look like this. But yeah. And that's about a gallon of water that took about 3 days to freeze. So that's substantially longer than normal, at least in my experience of freezing ice blocks or water blocks, I guess. That side view that we're looking at now is interesting because it looks like the pyramid shape has been mirrored. You can see a kind of a straight line at the right-hand side before it gets clear at the top. And it's kind of hard to see, but it does actually kind of look like it has the pyramid angled slope.
Is that the white corner you're showing there? That solid piece?
Let me see if I can annotate on top of this. You guys see that color?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the mirrored image that I'm trying to suggest is happening, and down here on the other side is where the actual pyramid was sitting in the frozen ice, or in the water.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of hard to tell, but there's some layers there that look kind of like they showed up, and then there's the second line in here, and then another one a little closer in.
Right. I was wondering how you got it to stay there without sinking, but it's plastic, so it's floating in the water. Is that how you're
No,
suspending
so
it?
the this side here is, oh, that's not an arrow. That's the top, the clear part on the right-hand side of the image.
Yep.
And it was just on the bottom of the container as
Oh, okay. Okay.
so
I had it
where it's
upside
sitting.
down. Okay.
Yeah, it's on the side right now. And
would have been interesting to see what was underneath the pyramid too. Because
well, if you go
that's
to the
actually
video, you'll see.
okay.
So there's there.
Shall I play the video?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
So here we're looking at the bottom of the frozen plastic bucket. Well, it's just water, but it was in a plastic bucket in the freezer.
There's a whole new world in here.
That's that little air pocket that was created. Kind of difficult to show a video of these of this without some super good lighting, but
It's very clear.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the video.
All right, very good. Thank you. Any questions from Nikolai on that one?
that little air pocket in there, and then kind of around this side here is that I guess you would call it rectilinear geometry if you want, but it's hard to see in these kind of convoluted field plans going everywhere. But it's quite beautiful. It's definitely easy to lose a couple of hours of your time peering into the world of the little lines.
And that was with CH3?
Yeah, that was, I think, 2 drops of CH3 in that pyramid. and then left to dry in the sun, and then further layers of resin were poured on top of it, so kind of sandwiched in the middle of that little pyramid. And yeah, it's probably about the size of a coin, maybe a larger size coin, maybe an inch cubed.
Yes, another teaching tool.
Yeah, I've just now put in a little formation 5 of these pyramids with different materials in them all into the freezer in the next experiment, and they're kind of organized in a pentagon formation with the nano-coated copper bits in the middle, kind of pointed towards the middle of the circle, and so that'll be the next version to see how that turns out. Just a fun little game.
Okay, thank you. Wondering if Kenneth, do you have
Thank you,
a picture
Nicola.
you want to show? Yes, thanks, Nicola.
No problem, guys.
While we're on this.
Show something.
Yeah, it's good. That's
Well,
what
the
we need.
spaceship is
Something
under
big,
development, you know.
something visual to keep our mind stimulated.
And perhaps next week, when I have a bit more time, I'll perhaps show the meditation unit that I was working on for the last couple of months. So that can be perhaps my spaceship, so to speak.
Well, meditation's the key word for moving into some music from Jedi. I'm not sure if I'm able to play it because I won't be able to control the volume, and it might come through too loud because there's no way to control it in the Zoom. So I'll just have to try it and see what happens here, and people have to give me some feedback, I guess.
We can just lower our microphones, correct?
It might be just, yeah, I can adjust it in live stream, but it might be totally overwhelming and it might distort or something. I don't know. We'll have to just try it here, but I think we had trouble with that before, and that's why I couldn't play it from the websites. I need to get music files or something that's that I can control the volume with. Anyways, let me share.
If you have VLC player or something like that, Rick, you might be able to just download it.
Share. Okay, this looks like about 6 minutes. So, well, let's just have a musical interlude, and we can ponder what the next question can be and how we'd like to proceed from here. Maybe we'll listen to the other ones as well. All right. Let me know if it's too loud. You can make a comment in the chat or whatever, or if there's some other issue with the audio. Let's give it a try.
Sounds fine.
Yeah, we lost the visual, unfortunately.
Very clear.
Ah, very nice. Thank you, Jedi. Let me try another one. When I was listening to that, it reminded me of music to voyage to space with. Space music. If I was going to, I was thinking, if I was in the plasma chamber, the body enhancement spaceship unit, then if I was listening to music, I'd want to listen to some kind of music like that. Definitely not the top 40 kind of music or anything of the earthly plane, as far as I'm concerned. I would want something that sounds like space. And to me, that sounds like something I would want to listen to in space. It's kind of allows you to open up into a different dimension, let's say.
Well, the first picture you showed with the candle in it definitely had a similarity to the unit, because you could see the plasma going around in a circle, and part of the picture in the unit is where they show this view with the head here, and you can see the plasma flowing around the circle of the unit. Very similar.
Wonder if I can play the music and be able to go backwards at the same time and see the image. Let's see. No, that doesn't work. Unfortunate. All right. Well, I'll carry on to the next one, perhaps.
It's very easy to you guys to visualize what you like. Hi, everyone. Hi, Rick.
Hi, Jalal. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. After, give me a little bit time when you finish, please.
Okay, I see that one's actually, was that the same? Is this a different one, Jedi? The second link here, using voice to reach the sky. Oh yeah, I guess it is. Okay, so we'll play this through.
I think you're playing the same one, Rick.
Ah, okay. Let's go to the next one then.
I thought the flute one would be nice because he handcrafted his own flute.
Confused which one's which here now. Got 5, 6 different ones. I don't know which one to play.
He's posted another link in the chat and said this one.
Okay. It says this one shall slow down thoughts. All right. Everybody have their thoughts slowed down? Maybe that'll mean nobody can respond because their tongues are twisted. Thanks, Jedi. That was very nice. Alrighty. Anything else that anybody? Oh, Jalal, I think it's time for you to jump in here. Oh, we have a flute track as well for later
Yeah,
on.
so, okay.
So he says. Jalal, did you want to come in now? Or shall we go for the flute track?
I think we should go for the flute track since he composed the flute by hand.
Okay, that sounds good. Let's have another 4 minutes of soliloquy here while we meditate on whatever it is you like to meditate on. If you need to meditate on anything, indeed. For me, it's space music. That'll be in my repertoire for space music, the playlist for space music, let's say. If I was going to maybe lie down in an isolation chamber, then I'd want some space music to accompany me, perhaps, and take me on my journey. Okay, here we go. Wait a minute, I think I have to share it properly. Just a second. Okay, that seems to be the end of that one. Thank you very much, Jedi. Very, very lovely and intense. That was the flute track from Jedi Simon. And the way I understand it, you made your own flute. Is that correct?
He's saying yes in the chat.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And many, I think is the pronouncement, in the live stream mentions, he says, I recall Rick's show discussing monks levitating a rock using flutes. And I put back in as a comment, flutes, trumpets, and drums. Yes. There's a classic case of levitation of large stones, rocks, by these monks that were able to use various instruments in a way to cause some sort of resonance or some sort of effect that could levitate rocks up to the side of this mountain where they were building a monastery, and they had no way to get the rocks up to the side of the mountain, so they levitated them in order to make the monastery. People can look at that up if they like. I think it's, if you look for acoustic levitation of stones with Tibetan monks, they were. And that was recorded, I believe, by some scientists from, or anthropologists or something from, I think they were from England, that recorded it. And they brought some sort of film back, and it was basically confiscated and never heard from again.
Well, it was interesting, Mr. Keshe said in passing, I think it was recently, I don't know if it was publicly or privately, but he said that the reactors that Armin made with a slight modification, you could levitate the planet. Or move the planet, lift the planet, he was saying.
Slight modification, yes.
Yeah, it was just like in passing he said it. Oh, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, does anyone else have something they'd like to bring up? Perhaps our thoughts have stopped with the music and we're content to just be. Manny also mentions in the live stream a guy who shared a plan for acoustic levitation using crystals and a Tesla coil. and a piezo emitter. His name is Ben from Canada. If you have a link for that, Manny, you could put that in the chat there.
You know, Mr. Keshe always said that working in the matter state is very hard, takes a lot of energy, and is a lot of work. Working in the plasma state is much easier, and the plasma is actually doing the work. Now you're showing that with the levitation of the stones, and he said in China, we're actually watching on an MRI the plasma rebuilding a heart valve. To the distraught surgeon that said, what do you mean I don't have to cut anymore to go in there to repair that valve?
Well, maybe they're the surgeons of the future will become virtual surgeons. They'll do it on a screen, and then that sends the little nanobots to that area, or however they do it plasmatically. It's definitely room for lots of experimentation for doctors of the future, if they can liberate themselves from the shackles of their current system that doesn't really allow much in the way of experimentation. You go by the book, and if you deviate from the book, then you get the book thrown at you. And,
Hi, Rick.
you end up going to court about it. Hi, Jalal, go ahead. It's time.
Yeah, sorry. There is some cows need to be baptized. I need only 10 minutes. I will join you.
Some cows need to be baptized. What?
Sounds like a water hose let go.
I don't think I need to be. That's probably on a need to know basis somehow. Okay, back in 10 minutes. Okay, we'll have to hang out for a while then.
So that was amazing to me when Mr. Keshe had said that the Chinese government had given the foundation a 51-story medical structure. And he said there'll be no cutting and no blood. And I thought he had said beds. There'll be no beds, but maybe that's accurate too. But I know he said no cutting and no blood in this hospital.
Nice.
And I think the beds are going to be replaced with the universal body enhancement spaceship units in that setting.
Why would you need a bed if you can walk after getting out of the unit, perhaps? Eh?
Well, in place of a bed, now you have a unit which 30 minutes per person can use that. So you're actually increasing the bed size of the hospital by 20, 30, or what, 30 minutes, 24 hours in a day. That's 48 sessions. That would be equal to 48 beds, let's say. Like you said, they get out of it.
50 times the room for people in a way.
Yeah.
And if they don't have to be in the beds for several days or months, depending, and if they're able to just go home after this procedure rather than a recovery time from an operation or some other procedure that knocks them out for days at a time, then that just multiplies again. So if the average stay was 3 days, then it'd be 3 times that 50, 150 times the throughput, you could say, for a same size hospital. Interesting idea there.
Mark, you open very important thing, and this is what we are needing. Can you elaborate a little bit on this device and how it's work, please?
Excuse me?
I said you open up something is very important, and this is what we need. And you speak about the device. Can you elaborate in that and how it's working?
It's black box technology, Jalal, as you well know.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but let's open up these things.
Well, we're not going to know exactly how it works because the technology is not going to be shown. The results of the technology are going to be shown. In other words, it's proprietary.
Yes, but on the other hand, Mr. Keshe has also said that it's all the same technology and the same principles that he's shown in the patent. He gave us a big clue there that we missed stuff in the patent, and he's going to take advantage of it and go with it because he's realized that we dropped the ball on that in a way and didn't develop it. So he will. But like you say, it's sort of a black box in the sense that I think he said that if you were to open up the technology in the chamber in that unit, it would destroy the technology to open it up. So
Correct.
It's got something that could be certain gases or ganses or certain environment that when you disturb that by the act of trying to find out what it is, in effect. You probably hear a psh, you go, wonder what that noise was as it releases all of its goodness. And then you can't figure out, well, there's nothing in this, there's nothing here.
Well, we know there's a soul put into the new systems. So obviously, the soul doesn't sleep. The soul is aware. The soul is always observing. So if someone's tampering with it, it has its own intelligence and its own understanding on what to do to not allow that.
Its own alarm system.
I'm not sure what Jalal meant by opening it up. Obviously, it wasn't to take it apart.
No, he means to open up the idea. How does this work? This technology.
Well, on the food, Mr. Keshe said this can feed you, this unit. So if we put the energy into the body knows what to do with it, and you won't be so interested in food. Just like he said, we don't have to hydrate you. We can give you the fields of water. The body can convert those fields into the hydration you need. So it's that sort of
good
understanding.
Point. Okay. Yeah, well, that's I think exactly what Jalal means by opening it up, bringing out some of those ideas that Mr. Keshe has already described, but so that
and initially,
he
said the body would need, depending on the condition, and I'm not sure, that the body would need to rest to give it the time to rebuild itself. And I know with the kidneys, for example, on the new dialysis systems, they're going to be hooking you up somehow to the unit, but the poisons will be transferred plasmatically, and this gives a chance for the kidney to rest and rebuild itself, Mr. Keshe said, rather than the current dialysis of forcing through the kidney, something along that line. So it's obviously a total new approach.
Mm-hmm.
or space tools, let's say, that are being loaned to the planet, to the scientists. And they're doing a beautiful job with it, he said.
What other clues do we have on the operation of the unit and principles behind it? I think
He
I
said
asked
it
him. Go
gives
ahead.
you what you wish for. It's almost like a wishing machine.
Right, because it takes you back into the soul level and into possibly even back to the point of birth in the womb. So it's like a
Not possibly.
okay, it is then a means to go back in a way, or to go back to a time where before the conditions were created that gave us our afflictions and so on.
Correct. I think it's to the point where the sperm and egg have come together, and for those 24 or so many days, that structure is feeding itself through the fields, rather than when it gets hooked up to the umbilical cord, then it becomes hooked into the matter state. So I think it's bringing you back to the point at that inception, for those days where you're in perfect balance and not connected at all to the matter state.
So I am
That's
here.
a nice
Can I please?
description. You can please all you want, Jilo.
Thank you. Can you give me whiteboard? Or
Board coming up.
thank you. Okay, guys. This is my understanding, and please bear with me. Mr. Rick Crammond, you have this device so long time, and you work with it. Mr. Nikolai, you have this device and you work with it long time ago. Mr. Gianni, you have this device and you work with it long time ago. Okay. Let me ask a question and I will answer it. What is plasma? We came from matter state. We went to nano state, and we have Gans state. Matter state, nano state, and Gans state. Is that plasma? What you are speaking about? In a way, yes. In a way, no. Because this is the weakest in the plasma. So you went from all these states. You went to the first plasma state. You know the ball, Rick, with the device?
You mean the plasma ball or some other ball?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You rotate it and you see the plasma inside, the empty one. Do we understand how it's work? The plasma work? Okay. Plasma is like this. Magnetic field, gravitational field. The same thing here. Let me choose another color. It's not mishmash, as Mr. Keshe said. It's two ways. Everyone knows where he's going, and well organized. Well organized. So this is the plasma. More you go in, more you have strength. When there is interaction here, with this magnetic field, it makes interaction between the two. If this interaction match another interaction, whatever it is, let's say here, it will lock to it. The same thing. When we have interaction here with interaction here in the gravitational, two interact, match another one here in the strength, it will lock to it. It can pull it inside it because it's gravitational, it's pull. So this enhancement unit, is it in the matter state, this one, or is it in the nano, or is it in the GANs? Or really is it in this state? Plasma. Your ball, Rick, is matter state and water, partially matter state, partially plasma state, GANs, and there is GANs. So all the three is your ball. When they interact inside, you have a point of plasma. So is that plasma bigger than the gas in the strength, or bigger from the nano in the strength, or bigger from the matter in the strength? If we say a matter is 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, nano is 2 million centimeter, the field of it. and the GANS is 2 billion centimeter. So what about this guy here? How much it will be? Apply this one, this plasma, every cell in your body, and in the end, now you understand the strength between this one here and this one here. If I say this level 1, this level 100. You see the strength now? More you go deep, even in thinking, if you match another plasma field, magnetic field, radial, where it is, in which universe, in which universe, if you match this one, you will interact with it. You will put it inside, even as information, even if as a knowledge. So please stop working with this. Finished. This is finished. Matter, nano, GANs is finished. Work with the plasma. You have it. It's very easy. If you wind a wire and you make a nano in it, and then you put GANs and hook it for a source of energy, what kind of energy, you will have interaction, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here, maybe outside. Look to the plasma, look to the interaction of it, and then take it and work with it. If you work with the matter, you will have interaction, but it will not go anywhere. If you have a nano, you will have interaction, a little bit stronger, but you will not go anywhere. If you have a GANs also, this is matter of the plasma, matter of the plasma. Even it's GANs and very powerful, and you will see when you apply it, liquid plasma, water, oh, very good. I put it to the plant and it goes. My dear, you have more stronger. If you want to go 1 meter, you will use a matter. If you want to go 10 meter, you will use nano. If you want to go 1,000 meter, you will use GANs. If you want 1,000,000 meter, you will go with this one. It will take the entire. Then whatever you want, a plasma is working like this. Unconditional giving. When he give, he receive. Unconditional. All the ways. In every circumstances. Because this is the job of it. This is how it structure itself. It's not a matter, it's not nano, it's not GANs. It's higher. Inside it, there is a levels. This one, the distance here from this one to this one is 1 million kilometer, 10 million kilometer, 1 centimeter, from million of millimeter. It's no difference. This one like this one. If you open it up, you will see this one is here. It's the same thing. Start working with what you have. This is the soul. This is the plasma. You call it soul. The free energy inside it. Is it free? Or it's the interaction of your cells putting here, adding to this one, because they came from it. Start interact with the higher source. Stop playing with the matter. I think it's the time. You know it, all of you know it. But it's very easy. It's very easy to work with liquid plasma and water. It's very easy to work with the sound. We have it. Why we work for another one? Dear friends, the coming time is working with this one. Mr. Keshe said, you think you don't know it. He's speaking about the new teaching. You think you don't know it, but you will be amazed how much you know. Pictures, it will not get you anywhere. Sound, it will not get you anywhere. Liquid plasma, it will not get you anywhere if you don't use it in the right way. You made a box, you make a field to capture 4 different fields, high strength. You made a carbon field here, you captured amino acid. They are ready to give you. The universe works like this. Make a field here inside your brain. Whatever field you want. Once you think about it, you're already connected in the gravitational. Think more, concentrate, give it a time, and then it will come back to you as a magnetical field. Then this guy will be part of this guy. Maybe 4 of them, they will join. And this 4, if they here, they make a position, maybe this 4 also will bring 4 from here, 4 from here, 4 from here, 4 from here. You see how generous is the universe is. So Gianni, you don't need liquid plasma. You already have the knowledge. Work with the soul. Work with the plasma. This is the soul. Mr. Nikolai, you show it. Finished. Work with the essence. And Mr. Rick, I cannot say you are working with it, but capture it. You already create it in your ball. Capture it in another ball, empty ball, not with the liquid. Nanocoat inside. Make a flow to capture it inside. And one thing more, I didn't have the time when Alex was speaking in his private, although it was private. He said, and all we know, a short distance between 2 points is direct. Yes, in the plasma, this is wrong. A shorter distance and high speed when it goes like this. Because when this field is coming here, it will interact. It's like an onion. You take the magnetic field out, it will expose the gravitational. So you add to the speed. So this one will go here, it will interact, it will gain more speed and strength. This one go here, it will like this. This one here. So in the plasma, this circular is more high speeder and it will reach up more than this one because this one is very weak. There is no interaction. It's depend on the speed of itself. It will not gain anything. So this is the difference between the matter state and the plasma state. I thank you very, very much and go back to the work. And any question, I will reply it if I have time. Thank you.
Thank you, Jalal.
Thank you, Jalal. Thanks for your drawings as well. We appreciate having something
Thanks,
visual in spite of going to the soul level.
I have to go to bed now, Jalal, but I will not go to bed.
I know you will not.
All right. See you guys another time.
Don't go to sleep, just rest.
Very good. Thanks, everybody.
So, Jalal,
Yes, my friend.
are you your previous picture? Was that the newt?
The previous picture, what was?
You were drawing? Mr. Keshe says, I work with the newt.
The new?
The newt. N-E-U-T.
Let's go.
He was saying you always look for bigger and bigger and bigger, but I look for smaller and smaller and more powerful. He's working with the neutron. Is that what you were showing us in the previous picture?
He always said, what is in the molecular, it is in the, how you say it? It depends all in one system. What's happened in your cell, it happened in the unicos. But in your cell, in a bigger scale. And your cell is a smaller cell comparing to you in this moment. But your cell, put it in a different position, your cell, it will be a unicos to its environment. So what is the difference? Why should I see a bigger picture if I have a smaller one? He said, look inside you, look inside you, look inside you. He brought up the plasma. He showed it to you as a GANs. This is the weakest one. And then he showed it to you when you experiment with, when you rotate your ball, you see this dot inside the ball. We all saw it. This is the gases here is trillions and millions. Yes, gives all of them to the center, and you have it. You have a soul here inside. This is the soul of this entity. Now it is entity because you have a gases inside it. Huh? You have a matter inside it. You have emotion because it's come from motion. So you already create an soul. Should he say, this is the soul? This is the plasma. Your soul, maybe it's 10 of to the power of 100. You call it your soul. Another entity is 10 to the power of million. It's the same. For you, this is enough. For him, he have like yours, million. It's the same, the guns. Take one part of guns, one part. He said, it's the sun. But if I compare what I have with the sun, I have the same. But is the strength is the same? Absolutely not. Because
Right.
even I am using, let's say, CO2, and this is the soul of CO2. If I say CO2 from 1 to how much CO2? Come, guys. Carbon is 12. Oxygen is 16. So to the scale is 44. I have a soul. I have a soul. 2 from work from 1 to the 44. If I put COO 2, the scale will high up. The 44 here, plus and minus, because there is interaction, it's this one. What's adding here? It's above the 44 in the plasma. In the matter state, no, it's below.
Right. He said I could take one neutron and let's say you needed energy for something. Create 100-foot wave in the ocean that's 2 miles long or something. That's a lot of energy to create that. He said out of one neutron, I would have enough energy to create 10 more.
So
Man doesn't understand this.
So when we will understand, we already know it, but really, as you said, we didn't
Right.
understand it. We already
Yeah.
have it, but we didn't understand it.
He said you're going to be amazed to know what you thought you didn't know.
It's like a fish. She lives in the ocean. Take it out and let it see where she is living. Look at that! It's very beautiful ocean. You're already in it, but no one told her this is an ocean and there is more.
Right. I think that unit is going to give people what they call the epiphany, where that's at the point where you realize where something you understand, the point of understanding. You had that point, and that's where we're going to get brought to remember what we are capable to do and understand.
If I say the creator is a trillion of trillion of trillion of trillion and blah, 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 of plasma, you have one part. So increase this part. Interact in this level. Not in the soul of emotion. because it will encapsulate you in this earth. You will not go anywhere. Work with the higher. The higher is inside you, inside this part. Your soul. We call it your soul. I will call it your plasma. 1 part of trillion is also a trillion in its condition, in its place. A soul and 1 cell in your body is very, very important. But to the collective of parts, it's nothing. But take 1 cell from you, put it in another universe. It is a universe in that place. He said 1 part of hydrogen, it can cover the whole universe. When the condition right to manifest itself. So thank you guys. I go back to baptize some cars.
Thank you, Jalal.
Thank you.
Okay, baptize some cars. That's what he said before. Got it. Thanks, Joel. Very good. Anybody have any more comments or questions on what Joel brought up, or anything else you'd like to comment or question? Well, we're coming up on the 3-hour mark here, so maybe it's time to start thinking about fading away. Anything else anyone would like to bring up? Well, I think maybe I will end today's show if we have nothing else to ponder at this moment. And I appreciate all the input today, and there's a variety of things that we engaged with, including some music. Thank you, Jedi. And I guess it's time to end today's show then. So it's been the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group for Wednesday, November 6, 2019. And thank you, Mark, for being co-host today. And everybody for your participation and objectively observing on the fringes as well. Okay, that's it. We're going to play the little snazzy little video Flint provides. And we'll see you next time around. Don't forget the Knowledge Seekers Workshop coming up at 9 a.m. Central European Time, Thursday. And we look forward to another exciting round of knowledge from Mr. Keshe on that. All right. Bye, everybody, and See you next time.
Thank you, Captain Crammond.
Thank you, co-pilot Mark.